What is up, YouTube? Johnny B here again today, and we are back. We got a new project to do. This is a customer's car. It's not my personal car. He brought it into us to help him with a little bit of the carbon fiber issues that he's having. But nonetheless, it's a beautiful car. It's an Evo 9. It's got like 70,000 miles, so it's just crazy to see a car, you know, an older car like this with low mileage. And he daily drives it, so he actually uses the car. It's not fully modded like crazy. It does have a lot of like performance mods. On the exterior, it's pretty much just the carbon pieces. It's got stock wheels, stock brakes. It's a good car to drive around as a daily, because if you have stance, you have suspension, you have wheels, then it looks really nice, but it's not as fun to drive as it is where it's set up right now with like 420 horsepower and all stock the rest. So it's kind of a sleeper because you expect it not to have that much power. Obviously the hood is gonna remove a little bit of that, but it's an awesome car nonetheless. It's cool to see one of these out on the road and actually be daily driven. Let me show you guys what we need to do to this car. So here's the hood. The hood is pretty good overall. It does have some scratching in random places where the owner talked to me about. You can see the scratches there. But the main issue with the hood is this right here. It's like a spider crack. It must have been from a rock. Typically that's how that happens. A rock will just come land on it and just spider crack it. And two right next to each other nonetheless, which is interesting, but it's gonna make it a lot easier to fix both of them because they're right next to each other. And the rest of the hood is actually pretty good, so that's not gonna be that big of an issue. And then we have in the back the trunk. This trunk looks like that. Has a little bit of a fitment issue. I'm gonna see if I can try to fix that for him. If not, you know, there's not much we can do. I think the way that these are set up, they're like on a hinge system. So if the hinge system is weird, I think we'd have to like bend the hinge to be able to get this down. He says he's okay, whatever, with leaving it like that. I don't really have to, but might as well check it while I'm here. And then this has like random scratches as well. You can see that there. There's a couple more that I saw that had a lot more, but the main issue are these two like chips. Let me zoom out of that. There we go. Those chips right there, they're literally, if you look in them, they're straight into the carbon. You can actually see the weave inside them. So I told them we're gonna try to get those out as well. Since we're gonna clear coat this, I believe it's gonna fill that in regardless, but we're gonna try to sand that down a little bit. And then once the clear coat kind of like sets in there, it'll kind of like make them go away and protect the carbon a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, that's it. Oh, one last thing. The carbon wing, it's a bit dirty, but the main issue is that it's like that. It's not shiny at all. So we're gonna be refreshing the wing, making it super shiny. Taking it close. It does. So we're gonna put the wing on here. After we clear coat this, the hood and the wing, we're gonna do all that separately. And once all that's done, then we're gonna go ahead and put it on. So I have to drill some holes in here. And that's gonna be today's project. Or for this video at least, since it's gonna be like a two-day thing, because we're gonna be doing all the body work, sanding this all down, clear coating it, and then tomorrow in the morning, once everything's dry, we're gonna go ahead and install the wing, and then the customer can pick it up later on in the afternoon. So started sanding the hood down, used 320 to get to the crack to kind of like sand that off. And let me show you guys what it did. Boom, look at that. You can still kind of see a little bit of the spider crack right there, but you can believe that the crack didn't go into the carbon. It's just the top layer, the resin. So once this is like wet, or once it's like clear coated, you're not even gonna see it. I don't want to sand anymore, because once you start sanding more and more, you start going into the actual carbon fiber. You can see the weave right there. You can see it a lot clearer. So you don't actually want to sand the carbon fiber itself. You just want to remove that top layer. So you can get really close to it and it's still gonna look good. But if you go any further than this, then you start seeing distortions in the carbon because you start eating away at it. The hood has this mesh and like covering, so I need to go ahead and remove that before I go ahead and start clear coating. So I have to remove this little water trap system, and it just all gets unbolted. So here's how the Evo looks without the hood. It's got a nice tubular manifold, bigger turbo, an engine intake, some bigger injectors, and that's about all I can see from here, but that's really all you really need to get more power out of these things. So now that I removed the little rain guard, now we have to remove all this little mesh, unless we want that to get clear coated as well. But I think it'll look better if it's like in a flat color. So here we are with the hood, got everything sanded down. You can see the spot where we went straight down to the carbon. Got the spider pack as much as we can get out. And then the rest of it is nice matte color. There's some shiny spots that need to be sanded down, but the hood is all sanded down with 600. I used 320 to grind down there. And then 600 is what you want to use when you want to apply a layer of clear, because you want there to be enough bite for the clear to grab, but you don't want there to be scratches that you can see through the clear coat. So 600 is the one you want to go with. And then the trunk as well. On the edges of the trunk, the resin was kind of like, I guess not perfectly flat, so there's like some spots that I need to sand down to make it flat, so that way when I clear coat, it's going to be nice and smooth all the way through. So same thing over here, there was some issues there, sanded that down. Got all the carbon fiber parts wiped down, take off any excess dust, because we did take a little bit of a lunch break. All the parts are sanded down. There is one white spot right there on the trunk that I'm gonna add a little bit of black paint. That way when it gets cleared over, it's gonna like hide that, and instead of being white, it'll be black. It's gonna look much better. So yeah, it's looking good. The wing is gonna look much better too. And then at the same time, I'm gonna clear coat this little wing here that I'm painting for another project.
Here we have just the first coat. That's not even all the way. That already makes them look much better. As you can see, the shine is not all the way there because this is just the first coat. And when you see it hit the carbon, it looks super shiny. Got our mask on.
All right, got the carbon fiber clear all laid out. The wing has like a weird like lines through it, but you can only see it in this lighting. Normal lighting, you can't really see it. So that's all cleared up. We got the trunk nice and shiny. And then the hood. So now you should be able to see the reflection, not like earlier. And then the that spot is kind of there because we sanded it straight down, but now at least it's not all spider cracked. So I think the issue is the resin is still a little bit yellow, so when I went through it, there's like a white layer underneath that's clear, and that's what you kind of see, but for the most part it disappears. All right, so just finished doing all 3 stages of clear coat. That way we can have a nice heavy coat on the carbon to protect it and to get rid of all the imperfections that I had before. I do have to just remove the taping that I put for the wing because the end pieces are color matched, so I needed those to not get, you know, messed with. So I'm gonna take that off because it does need to be removed before it dries, because then if it doesn't, if you don't remove it before it dries, then you have a chance of peeling up the clear coat, which is what you don't want. And then tomorrow we should be installing it, so let's get to that. All right, so I put the hood on. Still got to put all the little mesh and stuff to cover that up. And then we also got the trunk on. And I started making some of the holes so we can go ahead and mount the wing on, and then we will be done after obviously we do the mesh. So I'm excited to see what the car's gonna look like with the wing on. Got the wing on. It's really nice to install. Looks good, carbon on carbon with paint match sides, and the trunk having its little ducktail kind of adds to the effect. Look at that. So there it is with the hood on, looking good. The trunk with the carbon wing to match, looking good. The owner should be here in a little bit to pick it up.